Well, all
We
right.
learned our word, Mike. So I think we're all educated now. We've discussed pugilists, so I think that's the perfect segue into wrestling nerd side of the ring on Thursday afternoon. And for everyone who came out last night for Wrestling Wednesday, thank you. It was interesting toward the end, is what I'll say. At the end of the night, and people cut good promos. Fun was had, and Tiger Lily wins championships apparently. So
It was her
that
week to
pretty much
shine,
sums it up.
apparently.
This week, WWE had their first Monday Night Raw coming off the heels of SummerSlam, a somewhat successful SummerSlam, with the Thunderdome for Raw. And Chris, it was a mixed bag, to be quite honest.
So there's good
It's
parts.
just like
I want to hear the good parts.
there were good parts, as in fan interactions, and Mike B showed up briefly, I believe, and a
How
couple of
could
my
we
friends
possibly
in
know
wrestling. A couple of my friends in wrestling actually popped up on the big screen who are independent wrestlers, so they got their little shine. That was great. But not so much in some other things, Chris. There were some negative drawbacks, and I'm sure Mike and I can talk about this. But number one, if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, you know how this person is persona non grata. A picture of Chris Benoit made
my.
it to Monday Night Raw. And that was, if that wasn't disturbing enough, we had a execution footage.
Was it
that made it to
was
Monday
it a
Night
picture
Raw?
or was it a video of Benoit? I saw
It
the
was a
footage.
picture of Benoit,
Okay.
and then there was a murder shown. Raw.
A live murder or a replay of a murder? I can't believe I have to ask this.
Footage of a murder
Goodness gracious.
shown on Monday Night Raw.
And Mike refused to come over to this studio because he said that the WWE would shut down anything in front of a green screen.
I
They
didn't
lied.
say that.
Meanwhile, he's
didn't say that.
confined to the very, 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 very far corner of the Thunderdome while they're showing Chris Benoit and a bunch of murders. Do we have
Sure.
any accounts of like sex happening in the background as well? Because that's where
Not
my
yet.
mind went.
There is one more that happened.
KKK member,
There you go.
Oh,
In full garb.
full garb, not
Yeah.
gimmick, full KKK.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
He was all about it.
man, you guys
Oh,
are
man.
you guys are killing it, WWE. Literally, figuratively. Good grief.
Well, man.
Can we just have people having sex in the Thunderdome like it's supposed to be? Like, let's just have a wall full of that, not KKK members and murder.
Sure. Yeah.
Good grief.
Exactly. I mean, so yeah.
5 different views of the Low Tiger Cabaret.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? NBA, they've been doing it successfully with their fans and on their screens. I haven't gotten the invite to do that yet. I think for the Mavericks, that's kind of like a special invite thing, which if I were to push some buttons, I could get access to, but I haven't done that really. But yeah, WWE decided to up the ante on that and do their Thunderdome with all kinds of people in the background, and well, it just kind of shows, it shows the world really what many people who don't watch wrestling, what they think of wrestling and their fan base. I mean, they just, this is why the phrase "you can't have nice things" was invented.
Because of wrestling fans?
Well, not because of wrestling fans, but because
Trolls.
yeah, people will just troll, just to troll.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's funny.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's funny, but then, you get things like this. Well, okay. Like the Chris Benoit thing, okay, that can be perceived as funny. That was kind of funny to me.
Mhm.
But if you're going to go KKK or like show beheading,
See,
come on. What are you really doing?
well, the beheading video is kind of messed up. That's not funny at all. The KKK thing, it's messed up. I found it funny, but it's not something that I would like. Hey, man, let's look for KKK members on the Thunderdome. People do that because they what are their consequences? They're gonna get banned and that's it.
I mean, yeah, so that the follow up is that they have WWE said, they're going to ban those fans from attending, but I mean, there's so many ways around it because all you need is an email address to sign up for the Thunderdome. So if you got like 10 email addresses,
but the guy was in full robe, like he was. Yeah, he was.
He was legit. Like he is legit a member, card carrying member of the.
Yeah,
this wasn't no cosplay.
Yeah, he adopted a highway.
Yeah.
Let me ask this then: Do we see this type of tomfoolery return for week 2, or is there a week 2?
No, it's going to continue. I mean,
okay, so does this come back? Does it get worse?
Well,
I don't know what's worse.
Mike, we need you to save it, Mike B. I need you across all the Jumbotron pictures.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be nice. Have Carlos right there too.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody shows up like the Gestapo or something.
Yeah,
people just people are dumb.
So I mean, it's hard for them to monitor.
I could have swore I saw a Mexican cartel member in the ring yesterday. So
yeah,
that was a gimmick though.
Okay. Yeah.
That is a gimmick that apparently has a loaded luchador match now. Like, ooh,
yeah,
that was fun.
That's rough. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna be hard for them to police 2,000 streams, if you will, coming into their Thunderdome. And I mean, they have to keep it live for them so you can get audience reaction to what's happening in the ring. So I mean, it's gonna be really, really hard for them to police this going forward, as you can see already. So
they can't if it's going to be live. They just can't.
Yeah.
I
mean, I can't police this Discord. You want to join the Discord and jump in this chat? Like, I can ban you after you do something, but I'm not. Like, the point is to have it open and live. So yeah, if it's live, then there's a little bit of danger involved.
Yeah.
And apparently the KKK can be involved too. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's when you know it's legit.
But yeah, but I was in the Thunderdome last week, and of course last week we did cover the email that I received about disclaimers and stuff like that. But
they clearly meant it.
Yeah, they clearly meant it. But the it seems like
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It seems like each person's allowance, if you will, in the Thunderdome is about 30 minutes, because my call time was 6:45, and I saw 205 Live being taped, and then right after that SmackDown started, and then pretty much I was out of there after the first segment at 7:15. My other buddy Carlos, he got on at 7:45, I think, for SmackDown. So, and then I tried it again for SummerSlam, and I did get a confirmation that I was registered. But then when it came my time to come on SummerSlam, it already said lobby full. So, I guess
yes, different white supremacist groups had already taken your spot.
Infiltrated. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. No big deal.
Next time we'll
aside from that,
the Little Tiger Cabaret background up for you.
Yeah.
There you go. We need the logo in the background. We need that.
Yeah.
No, I got the wrong music up. Hold on.
No, that's Undisputed Era's theme right there. Let that play.
I'll let it play a little bit, but I get the actual playlist.
It's Adam Cole, baby.
That's right.
All in all, the first couple of events of Thunderdome seem to be uneven, but from a technical standpoint, I think from an execution standpoint, it's
no pun intended.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. First time through, still have some kinks to work out. The piped in crowd noise is starting to already get on my nerves. It just seems overly done, like it's a video game,
like a sitcom.
So, yeah, laugh tracks and all that jazz. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I was kind of. It seemed like the fan noise was okay on SmackDown, and it just seems like they were kind of upping the ante a bit, for Raw. So I'm hoping. I mean, I don't see the fan noise kind of really going away or anything like that. So I think you just kind of tune that part out, and I think you'll be okay. But at first it seemed like it was okay on Friday SmackDown, but But as for SummerSlam itself, though, that was it. To me, SummerSlam was very solid. This past Sunday, I did enjoy pretty much all of it. I was kind of surprised with well, I guess we could get back to SummerSlam real quick, but I was surprised that Keith Lee lost the title so quickly after winning it.
They made a big deal out of him winning it.
Yeah, they made a huge deal out of it, and then all of a sudden, he loses.
That was his first major defense, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was his one and only major defense. He relinquished the North America title, but then all of a sudden during SummerSlam, you see the promo for Keith Lee appearing on Raw on Monday. I was like, whoa! Well, okay.
Is he ready?
He got called up. Yeah, oh yeah, he's ready. He's definitely ready.
He's ready, but they could have made it more meaningful and build it even up, build it bigger. He could have been a solid NXT champ for a while. It's very believable that he could have held the title for over a year.
Oh yeah.
But in his first major defense, he loses it, and then right away, 2 days later, he's on Raw. So I mean, he deserves to be on Raw. He's that good. But it would have been so much better if they could have hyped him up, give him a break after he loses the title over a year later, and then they're like, Keith Lee's coming, blah blah. Gave the stats, build him up, promos, this and that, and then when he shows up on Raw, you're like, oh.
Some would say he didn't need the build-up because he's already been on WWE programming, Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble, so he would be still fresh in even the casual fans' mind.
Yeah, but I don't know. But that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's believable in everything he does. So
except his outfit from Monday, that wasn't believable. But we can get into that as well as the theme music that was used on Monday. But you said it was a good show on Sunday. I watched bits and pieces of it. I know SummerSlam. I know Carlos wasn't happy about one of the Golden Role Models losing her title, and it's all part of a bigger story, obviously, with Sasha and Bayley.
Yeah,
and I'm just waiting for it to explode. But someone brought this up the other day. I don't know who it was. Where it's not Sasha that's going to turn on Bayley, it's Bayley that's going to turn on Sasha. And Sasha will become the sympathetic babyface in this situation now that Bayley has become Karen the heel. So I find it to be a very interesting twist when everybody thought Sasha would betray the hugging Bayley, and now it's cementing Bayley's inevitable evil persona, betraying her best friend to hold on to her title.
Yeah, I can never get tired of Bayley and Sasha wrestling each other. They always or wrestling with each other and against each other. Their rivalries, we've seen their rivalry before, but it was Sasha that was, the heel, Bayley babyface, and I could never see Bayley as a heel ever until all this has happened. So for Bayley to go super evil and go crazy, that does make sense right now.
Yeah, Chris, if there's other things to go back and watch, another thing that had you been watching at the time would have made you a bigger fan of NXT than now was the Sasha Bayley feud from NXT, which led to the essentially first women's main event at a major pay-per-view. And the build up to
showed me with the little girl crying.
Yes. Yeah. That was so solid.
Iron Woman.
Yeah, the Iron Woman match. I mean the entire. If you want to talk about, and this is where live crowds are missed, but the live crowd for that was, that crowd was so hot from start to finish for everything that they were doing. Like there was no dull moment, so to speak, during that entire match. And people were eating it up, man, including myself watching it on TV. So much so that my good friend Sal, that you have met, that I watch, all my wrestling with and stuff like that.
To get us a video.
He doesn't have it, but he and he'll tell you, but he even at the conclusion of that match, he even shedded a tear. We were talking about emotional moments.
Yeah,
in wrestling, he even shed a tear at the end of that match.
That was Sasha's farewell, also, right?
Yeah, that was
when it happened.
farewell. Yeah, That was her farewell because she got called up like right after that.
Well, she was already on Raw. She was with that stupid storyline, yeah, with all the teams against each other.
Yeah. She was already on there, but she went all the way out of NXT yet. But yeah. I mean that whole build up right there, I mean, God, it was so good. That things like that. I mean, you have a lot of good storytelling in NXT the past 5 years or so, and that's definitely one of them right there.
And it was a 60-minute match you guys were referring to?
30. For them, it was 30.
It was 30.
Okay.
Yeah. To which that hadn't happened.
And it was the main event also.
Yeah. It was main event.
Takeover.
Yeah. So,
what is it about that link? Because we're about to see one next week, correct? A 60-minute match?
Yes.
So yeah. What is it about that format that you guys find compelling? What prep me for next week in the Fatal 4-Way 60-minute match?
Yeah. Well, that one's compelling because it's a Fatal 4-Way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, if you go look at other Iron Man matches, it's you'll see the top names do it, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. There was Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar had one on SmackDown also. It's an hour of wrestling, and it's wrestling. This is what we watch. I like a good promo. I like a good segment, but at the end of the day, I want to see people beat each other up, and for an hour, they get to do that. And it's whoever scores the most pinfalls wins, and it's just gonna be this. So it's like a whole bunch of matches in one long match, and it's good stuff. It's always been good stuff.
And it could be good storytelling too, Chris, because some of the falls that are going to happen in this Fatal 4-Way, there's going to be shenanigans in some falls. There's going to be a build up to who's going to get the last fall. Especially, there's always a spot, it seems, where either someone's tied 1-1, 2-2 going into the last 30 seconds, and to see who's going to get that last pin. So we've never seen a Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match. So that's going to get eyes on the prize, as it were. When Sasha and Bayley did it, it was the first of its kind. No women had done Iron Women matches prior to that. And this past week on Impact Wrestling, we actually had an Iron Women's match between Deonna Purrazzo, their champion, and Jordynne Grace, their former champion. And that ended with a bit of shenanigans as well, with a ref bump, a belt shot to the face, and then Jordynne Grace tapping out once the referee was awoken from his slumber. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to see how they choreograph it. And to Carlos's point, these are wrestlers, Chris. These aren't sports entertainers. These aren't brawlers. These are people that have good mat game. They have good basics and fundamentals. Wrestlers. So it's going to be fun from that standpoint if you like that style.
Yeah. And, to piggyback off of that, one of the first matches to bring the Iron Man match into the forefront, if you will, is from WrestleMania 12, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels for the title. That hadn't been done yet. And if you go back and watch the documentary on that, they didn't really want to do it, but the idea was proposed, and really at that time, the only people who really could pull that off was those two guys, because just like Damian said, they're wrestlers. They know how to wrestle, And that match was phenomenal too. And shenanigans happened at the end of that too, because that match actually went into overtime.
It went sudden death.
Yeah, it went into sudden death overtime. They were tied.
Yeah,
it was it was certainly a different era when I was watching as a little kid. But that type of match was happening a lot when I was little. Now it did involve 10 minutes of headlocks, but
Ric Flair did a lot of them back in the day.
So I've seen the preponderance of matches I saw when I was a kid were actually of that variety. I assume it's different now. Quite.
Yeah, I want to add to Damian's point about he was talking about the shenanigans and the pinfalls, and if you want to look at the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle Iron Man match, which is a very good match, I think Brock Lesnar disqualified himself 2 or 3 times during that match, just to beat up Kurt Angle with a steel chair, and then still won, right? I believe he won that.
He did win.
Still won. Yep.
Yeah. So he sacrificed some points, if you will, falls, whatever you want to call them. He sacrificed some of that just it was like an investment, and at the end it paid off.
Strategic.
Strategic. He beat the shit out of Kurt Angle. Excuse my language. It was awesome.
I like it.
Yeah,
that's what you have to look forward to, Chris. That's what you have to
intentionally picking Akuma. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another point to this whole thing about Iron Man matches is they don't do these all the time. You know, like they save these for special moments, if you will. For like they just don't throw them out like every.
That's good because as a kid it got boring.
Yeah. They don't have a pay-per-view named after it.
Yeah, So I mean, this should be good. Now, of course, back in the day, like growing up, right? To kind of touch on what you were talking about, Chris, like you would have, like best 2 out of 3 fall matches that would sometimes last 30, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. And that's, but they weren't really called Iron Man matches, so to speak. It's just kind of where you get the name Iron Man, and it's just where you get the most pinfalls within a certain amount of time frame,
Wasn't that the television title for one of them where they would just fight the last 30 minutes?
Usually they were 10. Usually 10 minutes would be the time limit for a television title match. And of course sometimes it would just be TV time remaining for a certain title match or regular match would happen too. They would say that, but that was a
WCW just run out of time and show the main event the next day for free.
Yeah. Actually, that would happen. That would definitely happen too.
And NXT just runs commercials during the middle of the main events.
Well, that's kind of a thing, but both NXT and AEW do that. Mm-hmm. They a certain commercial break, they will have the action going.
I'm looking forward to going back to AEW.
Okay, it's fine.
Just to see, because we started. So what was that week? This is week 4 of Wrestling Wednesday, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did 2 AEWs, and basically we went back and forth between NXT and AEW. So I got kind of a feel for that. We've gone to NXT now for the last 3 weeks, and now we get a chance to go back. So I will get I'm still undecided, overall on both of them. There are definitely parts about NXT I like, and I'm starting to pay more attention, as we go along. So my thoughts are incomplete, and I know they're incomplete on both. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, just keep the jury out. I mean, it's really not about. In your case, I think it's not about liking one more than the other. Yeah,
actually,
it's not about.
The jury isn't even deliberating yet. We're still in our we're past the opening statements.
Yeah. I think in your case though, like if as you're gradually coming into it, right now, there are ups and downs with all the shows and stuff as far as like, okay, this era of show was really good, this area's kind of been down or whatever, like there's ups and downs with it, right? So I mean, with things going on the way they are right now, it does kind of seem like NXT is quote unquote down a little bit, especially going against AEW, which is getting more ratings lately. But one of the things that made NXT really, really good was indeed, in fact, that their shows would take place in a small studio where the crowd was always packed inside of it and hot, and each fan in there got it. Like each fan in there understood what was going on. You know what I mean? People were all in. Yeah, it was more intimate, which those are always fun too. And when you get that ingredient, it does make for an overall better show to watch and consume. Because now you're seeing other people really enjoy. And sometimes if you're just coming into it, like, why are these people really enjoying it? Like, I kind of want to get in on this too, And, that was the case, like, when the first takeover happened on WWE Network, about 5-6 years ago now. I remember watching it, I was like, okay, I finally get to see NXT without having to look it up on, WWE.com or whatever. I get to see an actual show. And first time I was watching it, I was blown away. It's like, man, everybody's into it. Like, this is totally different than Raw and SmackDown. I mean, this was great.
Yeah, the crowd in NXT gave me the ECW crowd kind of vibes, because not like how crazy the ECW crowd, but like the crowd at NXT. That's their show. That it feels like it's for them. You know,
passionate fans.
Yes. Yeah, they're passionate fans. They're all chanting. You know,
they're educated. They cheer the high flyers. They cheer the technical. They cheer the ladder bumps. So. It felt like it was more for them. So when, like the first time I saw NXT, I didn't know who anybody was. Maybe I recognized somebody here and there because they were on the main roster and they go back and forth. But when I started seeing how the crowd was like so into it, and I was like, wow, this is the better show.
It made you feel a part of it. Hence the saying, like we are NXT. It's like it's kind of like if you're a part of it and you know it, you get it. It's that type of thing. Like you get it. You know, it's kind of an underground feel, if you will. Like we're not mainstream. It's almost like how ECW was, just like what Carlos said. It does have that feel, but again, it doesn't have all the violence, right, or all the real craziness. It's just that everybody there got it, and they're all on the same page. That type of stuff, and like I said, if you were to
500 without cars,
sure. Like if you were to go back and watch, again, like some of these matches we've mentioned, in NXT's past, even like the DIY, tag team title match against Undisputed Era, or when DIY won the titles for the first time against who was it, FTR, like.
FTR.
Yeah, those were solid, good matches, and the crowd ate it up. I'm talking like you hear the entire crowd go, "Oh!" on certain parts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really, really good. And I mean that's what makes NXT really, really special. And I mean, like I said, with no crowd right now, you're not really seeing that key ingredient to it right now. You just see, just people wrestling in a dark arena, and that's about it. So
I think that's the new normal.
Yeah,
that's the new normal of NXT right now.
When it works normal,
Chris, you're right.
When it works right, because like my complaints over the past few weeks with NXT is I haven't seen people wrestling in the dark room because of the production has been so bad.
Right.
So, but I hear what you're saying for sure.
To be fair, also, to Sarah's point in the chat, NXT last night wasn't great, and there were moments, and as much as you both all know that I'm a staunch women's wrestling supporter, some of the women's matches were downright atrocious at points last night. Shotzi Blackheart versus Mia Yim was dreadful.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because Mia is one of the best, and Shotzi, while talented, is better than most of the green people that you would see coming up. So I don't know what it is to blame for that. It just wasn't a really good showing. And I think that's why this Fatal 4-Way next week is important, because it brings the eyes back on the product by using their all-stars. The Tommaso Ciampas of the world, the Johnny Garganos, the Adam Coles, Finn Balor, who's been a champion in multiple promotions in Japan and in America. This is like all-star NXT next week. That's going to hopefully bring more viewers back to watching it as we continue this whole quote-unquote Wednesday Night War,
It's interesting to think about because they may have missed their chance. They had the stage yesterday. There was no AEW. There was no sports, with the exception of the NHL. The NXT had the stage as far as sports or sports entertainment, and they showed me something, and it wasn't their best foot.
No, it was not their best foot.
So I don't like. Next week might be their showcase, but they may have missed the boat.
A Fred boat, just the boat.
Yeah, the boat.
So I want to switch gears, everybody, really quick. There was one major thing also that happened at the end of SummerSlam on Sunday, and that was the return of the big dog of World Wrestling Entertainment, Roman Reigns, who had been sitting out due to the global pandemic, and he is immunocompromised with his battle from leukemia. So he decided to sit this one out, y'all, and he was making that money on Cameo, charging about $350 to $450 for a 15-second video. But he came back with shiny new teeth, attacking both Bray Wyatt as well as Braun Strowman and basically just taking them out with steel chairs. And some people are saying this was a heel turn. I'm saying this is just a guy reclaiming his spot, saying you guys are nothing without me, and whooping their butt because he wore a t-shirt that says wreck-ish, then leave.
Yeah.
That was it. He wrecked Ralphed it on the end of SummerSlam. And while again, most of the attention has been brought on by his new pearly whites, the addition of Roman Reigns back to a admittedly dreadful SmackDown male roster is a welcome sight to me. So I want to get everybody's opinion on what it is about having Roman Reigns back that makes you actually excited to potentially watch SmackDown.
Well, I'm also glad he's back. I'm in agreement with that. Like, SmackDown has needed some type of boost, for a long while now. And I mean, it started off okay when they moved to Fox with live TV and all that cool stuff, and Roman Reigns was on it, but they had some bad storylines going into it. Then things shut down, then Roman Reigns go away, and then now you have, pretty low-key SmackDown shows, but with him back, hopefully now that, gets the steam rolling again. And I've always liked Roman Reigns. I mean, he was kind of perceived as the new John Cena, where he's always pushed and always winning, and a lot of internet fans resented that type of stuff. But I think if you let Roman Reigns be more himself, which is he's like a real chill, cool guy, that just kicks ass, I think he would be more over with that fan base. I mean, I'll give you a story here. There was a house show about 5 years ago that we went to here, me and my friends I mentioned about, and we sat ringside, and the main event was Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton in a no DQ match. And this is kind of one of the cool things about going to a WWE house show is, like Carlos said, it's more intimate, right? And Randy gets called out, everybody's booing Randy. Roman Reigns gets called out, they're cheering for him, right? He hadn't gotten in the ring yet, and the bell hadn't even ring yet, but people around Roman on the ringside where we sat like on the corner, and you just hear a lot of people like just really hyped for it, like, yeah, we could see Roman. This was kind of his first singles run, okay, away from the Shield. And he turned around and looked at us. He looked directly at us and he said,
Mike, it's you.
No, he said,
can I have your autograph? Hold on. Stop the match. Oh, sorry.
He said, man, we haven't even done anything yet. Y'all chill. We just started laughing. Like,
that is such a Roman response, actually.
Roman does talk like that.
Yeah, y'all chill. We started laughing. That same match, a little bit later, somebody on the other side, some, girl, right? Like, woman, I'll say woman, but she was holding a sign that said, Roman reign on me, right? And, yeah. And, Randy threw Roman out of the ring and he falls right by us, right? And again, he's right by us and he sees us again. And he sees the sign and he's getting up and he kind of looks at us. And he said, boy, don't you just love it when that happens? And he looks over there and we see the sign and we just start laughing again. I'm like, man, this dude, man, this Roman's cool as hell. And I'll give you one more. Okay. This was last year. Again, Roman Reigns. Okay. This is when SmackDown was at the UTA College Park Center right there by Free Play Arlington. Again, 2 years ago. And me and Sal were again ringside. And Sal was, going to be a mark this day, and he wore a Bullet Club shirt to this house show. Okay, and match is over. Roman Reigns is coming around. He's giving everybody high fives like he'll do ringside. And my buddy Sal, he holds up the Too Sweet, and he looks at him, and I'm right next to him. And I see Roman. He goes, "Nah, bro, I don't do that Mark shit." And he gave me the high five, and he looked back at Sal and Sal, okay. And then he changed his hand to a high five and he gave him a high five. Roman took off. So there you go, man. See, if you let Roman Reigns be him, he's cool as hell. You know what I mean? Like, the dude's awesome. Man. I got no problems with Roman Reigns.
See, even Roman Reigns has a Wikipedia page about the divisiveness that he causes amongst fans. He's the internet wrestling community. First of all, they ruin wrestling, but besides that, they don't like him. But it's not that they don't like Roman Reigns himself; it's they don't like his character. They don't like that he's gonna be number one. We already know he is, but it doesn't feel like he's like, I don't want to say paying his dues, but he's just being like, here you go, he's your guy, instead of letting him naturally become that guy, because he will be that guy. We all know he will be, but we don't want him to be like, you have to like him now. We want to grow, we want him to develop his character, be himself, which is the most important thing he can do, because the way he was presented, that's not who he really is. He needs to be the badass. He needs to be maybe of course face, but he can be a tweener. If he becomes heel, his character wouldn't change that much, because that's just, he's the type of character, he could have the type of character that if he's heel or face, he's gonna be cool. But the way they throw him out there as the number one ultimate babyface superpower, and people, they kind of get tired of that. But me, I want badass. I don't give a F. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna mess everybody up and then leave. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see the inspirational and this and that, and we already had Cena.
So for Chris's benefit, let me give him a little backstory as to why one of the reasons people can't stand Roman Reigns. Writers a few years back, and I know you guys will remember this, he was feuding with Sheamus, I believe, and they had him say something. Oh no, the Big Show, and they had him say "suffering succotash." The promo. So that was strike one, and then he was making Jack and the Beanstalk references to the Big Show. So they wanted him to be. They wrote him to be this. Hey, so the kids are gonna love me because I'm being G-rated, and that was what people didn't like. And then it started to Mike's point, he was Super Cena again. And we've had that. We've had Hogan. We've had Cena. We had Austin and The Rock. We had these tweener anti-hero types that most wrestling fans growing up, when we did during the Attitude Era, enjoyed. It wasn't because they were the bad guys. It was they could go either way. They could literally be a tweener. And that's what made them interesting.
You didn't know who was going to get hit with a chair.
Exactly. It could have been your grandma, could have been your mama, could have been the bad guy. Wouldn't have mattered.
Right. Mae Young.
So now Mae Young put through a table because she was tough as nails. But that's where people started to kind of look at Roman Reigns and blame him for stuff that was written for him. So now that he's the guy, because let's face facts here, he really is the guy. And I was not a Roman Reigns fan when the Shield broke up. I was more of a Dean Ambrose / John Moxley fan, because I grew up with him in CZW in the Northeast. But with the WWE, and now he's potentially getting more into movies, he's the guy. Mm-hmm. He's where the money goes. That's who the kids are going to want to see on the Make-A-Wish list going forward. And I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with that. So wrestling fans, to quote Carlos, the people who ruin it, they're always going to want Daniel Bryan. They're always going to want CM Punk. But I'm sorry, as much as I love Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, that's not going to make a corporation millions of dollars or billions of dollars. It's dudes that look like Roman Reigns. Movie star looks athletic and humble. Works. That sells.
That's true.
I actually had heard, that's one of the few stories that had made it into mainstream, and I knew who Roman Reigns was. He was the one that all the wrestling fans hated, but they kept pushing anyway. It seems like, and now he's been in the news because leukemia and real life reasons interceding, and that seems like it's helping to put more character in it. And if everything that Mike says is true, and I 100% believe him, yeah, it seems like just let him be the person that he is, and you already got it. That's confusing.
Yeah, see, people like wrestling fans, even the internet wrestling community, they don't hate Roman Reigns. They hate his creative. They hate his story. Mm-hmm. When he does something cool, everybody everybody goes crazy, but then they go back to shitting on him, if you will. My bad for the like. When was it? When when he lost the title to Sheamus, and people were like kind of cheering that, and then he speared, I believe he speared Triple H, right, and beat him up, and the whole crowd went crazy, and they're like, "Thank you, Roman." And this is one of the major pay-per-views, so that's when the hardcore wrestling fans come out. And then the next day, you know, it goes back to Roman Reigns is your guy, and everybody starts, yeah. He shouldn't be G-rated because
That sounds G-rated. It was amazing. Like that story. Yeah. Holy cow.
Well,
Suffering succotash.
Yeah.
I'll be G-rated. He can go beat people
By the
up.
way, yeah, Roman Reigns is in real life is pretty hood as fuck, so he shouldn't be G-rated. He should just be a straight up G.
Yeah.
I like that. Don't be G-rated, be a G. That's a good T-shirt.
That is a good T-shirt.
I like it.
Make
seems
that your
more
next,
wrestling to me.
Make that your next T-shirt, Carlos.
I will.
I think you should. But another thing about Roman Reigns, real quick, is that some years back, like I think during their time when these particular promos that Damian and Carlos pointed out, somehow this story got out, and I don't even know if it was true or not, really, but the story did get out that Roman Reigns was taking like speech and acting classes,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, if that came out, right, and you know, of course, a lot of people believe, you know, wrestling fans believe what they read on the internet. That's kind of that, you know, to Carlos's point, you know, they do believe what they read on the internet, right? And they saw that and believed it, so that made the character development even harder and worse for Roman Reigns himself, just because now, you know, I see, he can't even speak. You know, why is this guy being pushed? He can't even talk when he can.
Am I supposed to care
You know?
if he takes speech classes and acting classes?
No, but
It's kind of part of it, you know?
That's just more ammo to the people that hate him already.
Yeah, that just added fuel to their fire.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's like, see, he's being pushed down our throats, and the guy can't even cut a good promo. Like, well, you know.
And if he ever says something cool, then people will be like, "Oh, if he wouldn't have taken that promo, he wouldn't have said something like, you know." So he's damned if he does, you know, and damned if he don't.
Sounds like it.
But
people
at the
tend
end
to
of
hate the pretty guy, man. They
But at
they
the
tend
end-
to hate the guy.
But at the end of the day, though, I like Roman Reigns. He's cool. He is a badass. I didn't like his story, but he's the money. The kids are gonna buy. You know, the parents are gonna buy the shirts. People that when we were going to shows, the dads, the moms, they're there. Maybe they weren't fans, but the kids were. So that's more money being brought into the shows. They buying the shirts. They buying his I don't know, styrofoam and hands of believe and all this stuff. But
The chest protectors, the fake chest protectors they were
the
selling.
D'Lo Brown vest, yeah,
Yeah.
the lowdown.
Which, if we really want to get next level nerdy, I mean, that's in some ways a foreign object, and you know, you can't really hurt him with a protective vest.
Yeah, you can't Ric Flair chop him.
No, you can't. But if he does a frog splash on you, that's it, brother. You're done for.
The lowdown.
Yeah.
Do you know about D'Lo Brown?
I watched him wrestle back then, but I don't know. I guess I don't know what you're referring to. I know
Chest
the wrestler.
protector.
Okay.
The chest protector was his bit, and for a while it was outlawed because it was like Lex Luger's elbow, you know, the steel elbow. So the chest protector for D'Lo Brown was an illegal object, and to quote Mike, once he hit you with the frog splash, it was as if a building got dropped on you.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get up from it. But now with Roman Reigns, after he left the Shield, they took a tactical vest, put it on him, and said, "Hey, we're going to give you all these colors of the rainbow for your tactical vest, and we're going to sell the wrist guards, the vest, to all the kiddies who want to dress up like you for Halloween." So they essentially, again, wanted to make him John Cena 2.0 and dress you up in a Halloween costume.
Okay.
Alas, that's not him.
And speaking about that, also, when the Shield broke up, everybody got Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, new music, new gear. Roman Reigns kept the same Shield theme song, and kept basically the same look. So everybody else was evolving. He kind of stayed the same.
I have a funny story about like items like that. So here's one for you. So back in the '80s, Cowboy Bob Orton.
Oh wow.
Okay, Randy Orton's dad. Okay, he had his arm broken for a while.
Oh,
The cast.
So, but that cast became a permanent fixture on his arm for like a year.
His
and
arm
guess
never
what?
healed.
His arm never healed, or so to speak. But guess what? He was allowed to, wear it in the ring, and of course, it was loaded. He'd his opponent with it, and his opponent's out, he'd win, right?
If I didn't see that, I've definitely seen that gimmick before.
Oh yeah, well, you saw it again because in the mid 2000s, when Randy Orton was on SmackDown, his dad came back.
Mm-hmm. Still broken arm.
And his arm was still broken. And when he came out and I saw the cast, I stood up in my chair and I just clapped and had a tear come down my eye. And I was like, "Oh, it's still broken! I can't believe it.
It still hasn't healed."
Dude, it hasn't healed." And I remember Jim Ross said something about it. He said, "My God, it's still broken," or something like that. I don't know. Oh man, it was so good.
The gimmick, when they keep old gimmicks alive, that's always.
I like it.
So good.
Like I like a good like when Roddy Piper poked Chris Jericho in the eyes. That was awesome. They got a huge pop, just him just poking him in the eyes. But yeah, old gimmicks, yeah, those are cool.
One last thing, also transitioning really quick, guys. The fact that we have a pay-per-view this weekend again.
Yes.
1 week after SummerSlam, called Payback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who made the schedule for this, Chris, and I don't understand it, but we have a pay-per-view right after a pay-per-view.
We have another one, Chris.
And not just any pay-per-view, it was SummerSlam.
Yeah.
A major pay-per-view, one that
Guess wasn't major enough. Yeah, it seems very jaded.
guess.
Very jaded.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
I think I'd be upset. Like if I paid for SummerSlam and they're like, okay, now watch the conclusion.
Well, that's a good thing about the network.
Yeah, you don't need to pay for individual pay-per-views.
Yeah,
Right, that's the beauty of
There
it.
are some people that still do that, though, and they'll still pay for the big four or the big five, but then you have the continuation of these storylines. For instance, we had Randy Orton basically going up against Drew McIntyre, and now they're going to have Randy Orton versus Keith Lee. So if you want to watch Keith Lee wrestle Randy Orton again, because he did it this past Monday, gotta watch Payback to see what happens.
It's just a tight turnaround there. Man, that's crazy. Okay, cool. Well,
It's a rarity, though. That's not the norm.
That's not the norm.
It's usually monthly.
Is it COVID related? Like, what the heck?
No,
happened here?
well, they when before COVID, the network would air specials, like especially when they were in Madison Square Garden, they would show that on the network, like on a random Saturday or whatever day they happen to be there, because you know what, the Garden is their home turf, their home arena, and they always made a big deal out of it, and they had some good solid matches. But that was just every 6-7 months or something like that. But it was never after a big pay-per-view like SummerSlam. That's a lot of wrestling to watch.
Yeah, it's more than I can handle for sure. I'm in for Wednesdays with you guys, so I guess we're doing AEW next week.
Looks that way. Well, I would like to have us kind of go back and forth so we could tune in to see the Fatal 4-Way.
But it won't be there. Right? It's Tuesday, right?
That's
Tuesday.
That's Tuesday.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that'll be
Programming
Tuesday.
update for everyone joining in here. Just to let y'all know, NXT is on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, so sports are, assuming they happen, are taking over the schedules.
Big
So
assume,
anything else pop
big
up for
assume
y'all?
too. I have no idea. Day to day, what's going to happen?
Yeah, we're kind of back, almost back to square one. But I think obviously once the playoffs and things like that are over for both NHL and NBA, then everything will be back to a normal Wednesday night delight, if you will. Use a
Maybe
other term right there.
Mike, I actually do have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you going to be streaming NXT, AEW, or pay-per-views at Low Tiger Cabaret?
Big questions.
Oh man, those are questions that cannot be answered because unfortunately that project does not exist.
It's not what we heard on Mike B News, sir.
Yeah. But speaking of news, I did forget to bring this up during the short news segment earlier, and this is something that Chris, that is important to Chris. But I do have a long-awaited update on Uno, the stray cat that lives near my house. Yes.
Really interrupting Damon's show for stray cat news?
I mean, we
you
can
have
save
an hour a day.
We can save it till like 1:59. But
it's okay, Mike. I can advocate time for this. Go ahead. Cats are important.
Yeah. But I get home last night, and I'm getting my laptop out from the trunk, and I hear something. I look up on my roof, and damn it, there's Uno on top of my roof, just looking at me. I'm like, "You sorry bastard! You're not taking over my house."
So, give me some backstory here, Mike. These are stray cats, correct?
These are legit stray cats. I'm trying to befriend these cats, but I think they just like me cool enough to where they'll just hang around when they want. But yeah. So like one day, I look out my back patio and it freaked me out, but there was this cat in my patio chair asleep. Like, oh shit, where'd this cat come from? So I try to hey, look, human, friend me, and he'd take off, right? So then the cat would reappear like every few days or whatever in the back patio. I was like, oh look, there he is. So I would try to get some type of food, and look here, human food, friend me, takes off again, right? Then there was another cat named Biscuit. It was an orange cat, and I saw this cat in my backyard after cutting the grass one night. Like, whoa, where'd you come from? You know what I mean? So now all of a sudden there's these cats around the area, and well, like a few weeks have gone by, and I hadn't seen Uno, which is this black and white cat, until last night. I was like, "You're back, hello again." Nice to see that you've returned. So there's
yes, you went in on Uno and Biscuit talk. Okay, fine.
Well, I mean,
how do you feel about this?
Yeah. Oh, look, see. There's
and there's a whole backstory as to how they got their names too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I didn't name this cat Uno or Biscuit. There was even a third one that was called Pepper. It was a gray cat that appeared also on top of my roof one night, and I'm just like, man, where are these cats coming from? Because the
so what I'm hearing, Mike, is that you're going to be grooming them to be part of your Tiger Cabaret or a cat wrestling promotion that you want to start.
Oh, I mean, I'd be all in for that. Yeah, I'd be all in on that actually. So, but alas, there's your Uno update. The original stray cat, Uno,
the OG.
Welcome back,
the OG. Yeah. And
in the chat, Shannon says your milkshake brings all the cats to the yard.
Yeah, damn right it does. Apparently, especially this one.
Uno was just waiting for you to work out again.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Uno was concerned that the waist was getting a little too big. So
that's right.
But so yeah, there's your cat update.
I think that covers most of our, if not all of our wrestling topics for the day, Chris. So if there's anything you want to plug, free.
Well, we're coming back on Wednesday, right? Wrestling Wednesday again. So we had our normal madness and title changes and promos. I hope I can use the promos.
New NXT Tag Champs.
Yes, Killer Queen was kind of lit last night. Did you guys see that?
I did.
Yes,
heard it.
As you should when Killer Queen gets going. Yeah, so we should have more Killer Queen players on Wednesday, more wrestling action on Wednesday, more wacky title changes, more promos. Like I'm having a lot of fun with Wednesdays as they are. I hope you guys are as well.
I want to hear Jerry's promo.
The Jerry's promo?
Yeah.
I don't think I can access it right here, right now. Otherwise,
it was very
Jerry.
Very interesting, yeah.
It was very 1980s villain promo, which I dug.
I mean, I love the Jerry so much.
My God.
He joined the Dungeon of Doom.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. He's
Man.
the new Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, otherwise known as the Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something I want to throw off Chris real quick. So I know we briefly brought it up last week. I did check last night, but the NES wall game,
The mini.
it did not. Yeah, it did not have pro wrestling. I thought it did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it did, but it didn't. So what do you think about again having some type of wrestling game?
I specifically requested it. It just didn't happen last night, so I will request it again and again and again and again. Hopefully, we'll get it working on the wall and on the versus cities.
What else is in the other ones? Like, there's a PlayStation 4 and what else?
PS4, NES Mini, Genesis, right? An actual Genesis.
Get WWF Raw for the Genesis.
That works. Do you guys have it?
I believe I do for Genesis. I'm sure I do. I could tell you in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Let me just look at my.
Yeah, no, I can't. Well, I want to keep working to having like a wrestling title on the wall. Like something, but not in the Versus City because again, those are the games that are performing. Don't take those off the floor. Please.
I mean, yeah. No, we won't.
Oh, you guys wouldn't, of course. But that's every time I say wrestling, they're like, "Thank God you finally said something. Let's remove ST."
No, that's not what we meant.
No,
right.
Not what we meant.
It's always a be careful what you wish for when you talk this sort of talk in front of the powers that be at every play. Not me, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so I have for Genesis, I have WWF Royal Rumble and WWF Super WrestleMania.
Ooh.
Yeah, WWF Super WrestleMania has Ultimate Warrior on it, whereas the SNES version doesn't. So
but the Super WrestleMania
guy.
All of them.
Okay.
Is the Super WrestleMania the arcadey one, or which one is that one?
That's the boring one that SNES came out with, like the first wrestling. Not you're thinking about WrestleMania, the arcade game, which I don't have that for Genesis.
With the digitized graphics.
Yeah.
So it means it's the real Yokozuna.
Yeah.
That's what it says on the back of the box.
Oh yeah. Wait. Can you put a 32X on there? Because WrestleMania, the arcade game, is on there.
Put a Sega CD and let's play Rage in the Cage.
Oh, I do have that too. I do have.
So we have options. I'll
keep working on it.
Yeah.
The requests will continue to flow. Like Wrestling Wednesday appears to be a thing. It's working out as long as everybody's showing up and having fun. It's building upon itself, which is the way it should. It's a casual, friendly experience. You can not like wrestling and come out to Wrestling Wednesday and have a good time. I know, actually, as we're transitioning here to the next little bit that we're doing, like Shannon, come on into the Discord. But like Shannon's showing up. I don't think she cares about wrestling too much. She was having a good time.
The beers are on ice.
Yeah.
Stars game was on after.
It's a good time all around. It helps to introduce people to wrestling if that's your jam. It's doing that for me. It helps introduce people to games that they're not familiar with. It lets people like get a chance to play in a meaningful game that's there and gone in an instant. And like, hey, you're the champion, or hey, you're not the champion, but like, bang, bang, it's done, and it's so much fun, and there's not a 4-hour-long tournament involved or longer. So I don't know. I really, really like what Wrestling Wednesday is shaping up into.
I'm not gonna lie though. I'm still a little bit salty about both my losses.
I understand.
Last night I became the mayor of Salt Lake City, and I don't want that title anymore.
Are we having our number one contenders match, the 2 out of 3 with Beltran and the Grill Master?
Nah. With Flex Luger.
Flex Luger. There you go. Sorry.
Sure. Also, I've gotten some pretty good feedback from the promos that you post, Chris. Like a few of my wrestling fan friends or people who run promotions back home, they actually enjoy post-match promos.
Yeah, we're being like, I like the format of us just being a bunch of dumbasses and shooting promos. Like I'm looking forward to posting the Jerry's and everything. So, yeah.
The Jerry cracked me up. Everyone's like, "What?"
It helps to have everybody there too.
And then there was almost a Survivor Series happened last night with miscommunication.
That's what I was wondering. What was happening yesterday?
With miscommunication.
What was that?
It was just a miscommunication that happened, and we were like, what's going on?"
What's Survivor Series?
4-on-4.
Teams of 4 or 5 do elimination matches to see who the sole survivor is.
I mean, we could do that. That takes a little while.
For those who don't know, I guess since I'm the new guy here, I thought we were being invaded like WCW or ECW tried to invade last night while we were shooting promos. So I was completely confused.
Oh,
yes.
Me too. And there were several. It wasn't just WCW trying to invade. It was like every wrestling promo for 2 decades trying to invade that one. That was very weird.
That was strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't.
It wouldn't be Wrestling Wednesday if it wasn't strange.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And then just going on by the way they looked, it wasn't like WCW. It was more like AAA or CMLL that came. But yeah.
Yeah. Now we are welcoming to all people. We don't judge people how they look at free play.
No, I was just we're talking about different organizations.
Oh no, everybody! Please continue to support Wrestling Wednesday. Support Nerds Out of the Ring. I love y'all.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back. We'll be back for Wrestling Wednesday next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Nerds Out of the Ring, of course, 1 to 2 p.m. I'll post this on YouTube and clip and whatnot. Yeah. God. Are you okay, Mike?
What is happening?
No, I just.
You Google that? Nothing. Did you Google it?
No, I know what AAA and CML are. Spot on. Anyways.
Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre.
Yeah. that's the name of CMLL. Oh man. Okay, I'm good.
All right. Have a good one, you guys.